r/AskReddit asks. What did a school teacher say that stuck with you? He should have just sent you a study guide for one of his exams. Maximum sass. I know what it is to be young, but you don't know what it is to be old. I don't know why and how it came up, but our English teacher asked me if I understand that. It was the first year and I was 10, and I definitely did not understand. But it somehow stuck in my mind as the sound of the sentence, until I could decipher the memory in retrospect. As my dad said, I have been 17, you haven't been 50. My geometry teacher was super chill. He taught us to play poker and blackjack. On the last day of school he said, "Remember, if you ever need anything or have any questions while you're at this school, there are about 50 other teachers you should go to before you come to me." Edit. Apparently all you all's geometry teachers are either hooking up with another teacher or taught you all how to gamble. My geometry teacher was too busy getting poked by my history teacher to care about us. I went from honors to support. Ended every class with "You're good people." My algebra teacher ends every class with "Have a good day, be nice to people." Such a small thing, but it's sweet. You're a spoon and a knife block when asked why most of my friends were high achievers and I was only average. Ever tried to eat ice cream with a knife? You're useful in your own way, bro, keep it up. Edit, typo. He gave me this nickname. My friends still call me Banjo 15 years later. No way, are you called Benjamin as well? As you can see, mine was Banjo. What do they call someone who graduated vet school with a 2.0 GPA? Doctor. My first term anatomy professor telling us to stop fretting so much about the grades and worry about the knowledge. My anatomy teacher was a cool dude. He'd give us little tidbits of advice before each test, ranging from always put your shopping cart away to you don't have to be 100% okay 100% of the time, and that's 100% okay, 100% of the time. He's definitely one of the best teachers I've had. You have unlimited potential when you know how to find the first step. After many years of pressing through, I feel like this has essentially become my motto. I had only a concept before, but now I have the words. Thank you, stranger. A good mathematician is a lazy mathematician. As the lazier they are, the more time and effort they put into finding the easiest solution. Laziness is the driving force behind all innovation. Hard work only makes you tired. After being caught smoking pot in high school, 1986. My science teacher, hi Mr. Fishbein, said to me, "There is a time and place for everything, this is not the time, nor the place." He did not report me to administration. He was a great teacher. Professor Oak said the same thing when I tried to fish in the Pokémon Center. First day off science class, many of the topics I will be teaching you this year will likely be proven false throughout your life. I love teachers that are honest with students. Simply saying something like "you'll never need to know this but it's part of the exam so we have to" is so much more likely to get me to learn something than just saying it's important. Sounds like an ace teacher. Teachers like marking your homework as much as you like doing homework. So, just don't do the homework, makes life easier for everybody. Biology teacher, pointing at student, ugly bag of protein, full of water. I feel like this is a Star Trek, TNG reference. He said with rage, "You used to be one of the good ones." A teacher said this to me, but instead he said with a tinge of sadness. I once asked my teacher something about the subject. And she said, "I don't know, but I'll do some research and get back to you tomorrow." I'm studying to be a teacher, and one of my teachers told us there is no shame in admitting to your students that you don't know something. However, you should look it up to answer it next time you see them and be prepared for the next time you get asked that. In French class in high school, over 20 years ago, part of the lesson was going over some sentences in French. She pointed one out in particular: "I go to school on the bus." My horrible attempt at typing it was something like "Je viens à l'école en bus." I understand I've probably triggered people who speak French, I apologize. I remember vividly the teacher saying, "For some reason, This is the only French any of my students ever remember after they're done with this class. Here I am, 2+ decades removed from that class in the 90s, and that's the only French I remember. Being wise is better than being smart. I held on to that right up till receiving my PhD. Now that I'm entrenched in a corporate world of merciless exploitation, I've realized being smart about life is really a subset of being wise. My teacher told me that I had a beautiful soul and mind, which I took as meaning that I was fugly and was being pitied, but later on realized that it was her way of showing me special attention because I was an introverted loner. One day in 7th grade, our principal came into the homeroom class and wrote on the board $19.32 in big numbers. He got our attention and announced to the class, "This," pointing at the number, "is what you are worth. Every day you come to class, the school gets $19.32 from the state for each of you. So if you are sick, you should still come to class, go to the nurse, and get sent home. That way the school will still get its $19.32. That was the day I stopped caring about school. I'm pretty sure he was trying to increase attendance and believed what he said was positive. But when a person you're supposed to respect tells you you're worth less than a $20 bill. I took Latin all 4 years of high school. I quickly realized I despised the language, but I stuck with it for the teacher himself. He alone was worth it. Our Latin class was right above the hallway with classrooms for special needs kids. One day, after it was apparent nobody did their homework, my teacher stopped class and said, "You're all taking what you have for granted, and it's inexcusable. There are several dozen kids in the hallway below you who wish they had the mental facilities to do homework." I did my Latin homework regularly after he said that. There's no benefit to being right if you can't make people listen to the answer. My science teacher told me something similar. The point of arguing is not to prove that you are right, but to convince the other person that you are right. You're the worst guitarist. I was a beginner at that time. Still hate her. Who says that to a beginner? In my senior year we had a dinner at school. There was a very long queue for the desserts, so I went and asked a history teacher where it started, because I couldn't find it. It was pretty chaotic. The teacher proceeded to put an arm around me, walk me to the desserts table, and say, "Hey my boy, fuck the queue." If you listen closely, you can hear the sound of 60 million Brits gasping in indignation. Don't bullshit the bullshitter. Mr. Bird, 2005. Also Mr. White. One time one of my elective classes was just kind of chilling out the day before winter break and the teacher decided to arrange all our desks in a circle. He had everyone anonymously write something that was troubling them at the moment and he would go through and give some advice. I wrote about my parents' constant fighting and how I feared their inevitable divorce and the possibility of moving across country with my mother. I wish I could remember what he said, but I vividly remember almost crying because what he said hit so hard, but I kept it together. Less than a month later, both things happened. Limau. Just get a fucking haircut. I kept complaining during P that my hair was in my face. This was one of those teachers that felt more like one of the boys than the teacher. Blew my mind hearing him swear. We had a teacher like that who thought he was one of the boys. He ended up getting an ex-student pregnant once she left. He was in his late 50s while she was 19. Whoever threw that paper, your mom's a hoe. Read this in Mr. Feeney's voice. I loved stories but was slow to pick up reading. Once it clicked, I was at the top of my class until I graduated high school. I have a BA/BCM now. In primary school I wanted to go to a book fair called Voices in the Coast. I was shot down instantly. A year before that, because I was bad at reading, spelling was also hard. My 5th grade teacher made everyone stand up depending on what they got right on a spelling test. I was the only one to get all of them wrong. He made me stand in front of the class. If you ever see this, fuck you, Mr. Burns from CSS 2003. Once you're an adult, you choose your own fate. Your mom won't control you anymore. This came from a 9th grade Algebra 1 teacher who took the time to tutor me. My mom was /is anti-vaxxing, cult-following nutbag who didn't think school was important because Armageddon is coming. I was terrible at math until I met him. It's been 25 years and I think of this teacher still. I am grateful. Don't talk to mom anymore, she got tired of me asking where Armageddon was. You'll never achieve anything. Basically the same thing, you'll never amount to anything, said likely with my parents/dad in mind, since we weren't well off, and he was an alcoholic. Well, here I am, sysadmin, making nearly 6 figures. Wife and kids and all. Piss off, Mrs. T. I had a homeroom teacher that out of frustration one day, ranted about how easy school was. He said, "We literally give you a book or the text, tell you to read it, then ask you to answer questions. The answers to which are found in the book we gave you. It doesn't get any easier than that. Read the damn books, answer the damn questions, that's all school is." I like that last sentence.